What's up, everybody? It's your boy Mello Mars. Thank you so much for joining me today. Today is Wednesday, and every Wednesday I like to do the R in Mars, which is a relationship topic. And today is going to be a doozy, guys. I don't want you to miss anything. If you're new to this channel, feel free to hit that subscribe button for you, boy. Hit the like button if you like this channel, or if you like the video overall. Hit the comment section, give your opinion. I call my subscribers the universe because we take all our collective thoughts and we just bring them all together as one whole. So that's what the word universe means. So feel free to hit your boy in the comment section. You won't be blocked as long as you're not saying anything, derogatory or anything of that nature. But let's get into this subject matter. I'm very passionate about this because I authentically love being black. I love being black, and specifically I love being a black man. I have the opinion that black men are the smartest men on this earth. And it's from that opinion I've started my journey. I started my journey to try my best to wake up or awaken any of the black men that I can. And I come to the conclusion of majority of people will not be awakened. Majority of people will allow themselves to be defined by their blackness. Majority of people will align themselves with something that we call a monolith, or as is commonly known as we culture. Yeah, majority of people will not allow themselves to think for themselves. And that's why I have done this video, and I'm so proud to say that black men are standing up for our rightful position and standing up for black people, standing up for the black family. Will Smith proposed this question on his most latest video.
Something as simple as Black Lives Matter. What's the fucking point of contention?
Now, I have to admit to you, I did not watch this video as of yet. It just came out. And honestly, I may not go into it because the guest he has on that video, I'm extremely against her views, but I'm not against watching people that I'm against. But when I am against people who spews propaganda and giving people victimhood, and it's really annoying. I'm for real. I can take you to a certain point, but at some point I say it's no saving you, so I'm not gonna even continue to listen. So I'm not gonna probably watch that video because he has a lady name. I don't even want to say her name, to be honest. But anyway, but my brother Will Smith, let's definitely answer your question. I'm gonna answer it here. Then I have a couple of your celebrity friends that probably can answer it a little bit better. Now, what I've been saying here for several weeks and probably over a couple months now, there's a distinct difference between the phrase, the mantra, Black Lives Matter, and the organization, Black Lives Matter. We need to understand the difference. The mantra, the statement, Black Lives Matter, I will shout that from a rooftop. I think everyone under the sound of my voice should be able to acknowledge that Black Lives Matter. And we're talking about all Black lives. But the organization, Black Lives Matter, couldn't be further from something that supports all Black lives. And we can actually go to their website to prove this. I've done this, and I admonish you to do the same if you don't believe me, but I'm going to show you a couple things I had a problem with on their website. The first thing I see here is we disrupt the Western prescribed nuclear family structure requirement for supporting each other's as extended families and villages that collectively care for one another, especially our children, to the degree that mothers, parents, and children are comfortable. We foster a queer affirming network when we gather. We do so with the intention of freeing ourselves from the tight grip of heteronormative thinking, or rather the belief that all in the world are heterosexual, unless she, he, or the disclosed otherwise. And that tidbit right there. Now, I'm gonna tell you someone who's a Christian male, myself, but has no outright problem with the LGBTQ, IA, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I. I had no direct problem with that community because I believe any adult has a right to be whatever they want to be. I don't have all the answers. No one has all the answers. We don't know what takes somebody to heaven, what takes someone to hell directly, because none of us alive have ever experienced it. So I choose to believe what I believe. You can choose to believe what you believe. However, I want you guys to look at their website. I just took this small sneak peek. The first thing they're saying is they come against the Western prescribed nuclear family structure. You know what that is? Patriarchy. They're totally 100% against men. When they foster the queer affirming network, everything on their website, well, not everything, but the majority of their stances are for feminist leaning views. Anything that's got to do with femininity or gay rights or transgender, anything that makes a male feels like a female. And frankly speaking, it actually anything that stops the flow of life. That's the only thing I would say I have against the gay, and I would tell them why I think it's particularly wrong for us to be gay or lesbian or whatever the case may be, is because it stops the flow of life. You cannot reproduce as a gay couple. And they're totally coming against this as the leaders of Black Lives Matter. Who are the leaders? Nothing but lesbian women. Women who are in the LGBTQIA, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, sometimes Y. They are the leaders of this movement. But I'm telling you, they are totally against 100% based on their stance, masculinity. There's nothing about this that says they invite masculinity or masculine thoughts. So that's something that you should look at and say is a problem, Will Smith, you and your two sons. And another thing, whenever I see this phrase here, my antennas go up. We are unapologetically black in our positioning. That phrase has been thrown around so much and actually has zero meaning. First of all, who has told you to apologize for being black? There's nothing about your culture, nothing about who you are that tells you that you cannot be black in 2020 in America. As a matter of fact, it's the coolest thing in the world to be a black person. You don't think so? Ask the Latinos, ask the white people, ask the Asians, everybody who on the side of my voice who would do anything they could to have the swag and the influence and the charisma of a black person. So boy, you gotta be unapologetically black. Honestly, when I see that word unapologetically black, you know what I see? I see rage. I see anger. I see revenge. I see radicalism. I see them trying to force their ways upon someone else. That's what I see. And that's what they represent on this website. So Will Smith, you need to look at the organization Black Lives Matter, not just the phrase Black Lives Matter. No one has a problem with that. And that's what my brothers are trying to say. Let me show you guys several clips of men standing up. We're going to first start out with the man who probably started it all and really opened a lot of people's eyes, and people forgot what he said. And I don't like the show he went on, and actually he shocked the host of the show, Vlad TV. I don't like the show because all he do is make black people look stupid. But Lord Jamar, and Vlad TV re-aired this about 4 weeks ago. Lord Jamar was the first person that I can recall who started pointing out that Black Lives Matter is not about black. It's not about black lives at all. It's not about black people at all. Let me show you a small clip of it.
Now, I'm not no Black Lives Matter supporter. Like,
you're not?
No, absolutely.
Why not?
Because it's not our movement. Look at the leaders of Black Lives Matter.
Are there leaders of Black Lives Matter?
Yeah.
Who?
Look at these lesbian women who are trying to incorporate, OG, whatever the fuck the letters are, incorporate their concerns into black people's concerns.
Now, the next person I want to show you guys is a video that went viral actually last week. I'm sure most of you have seen it already. I haven't got a chance to talk about it. It's a show I love. It's actually becoming my favorite sports show at the moment. Speak for Yourself. A guy, ex-football player, Marcellus Wiley. We call him that dude. He's an incredible, articulate black man. He also goes on Vlad TV a lot and sets him straight on a lot of the Kaepernick issues and things of that nature. So he don't bite his tongue at all. And he's actually been saying a lot of conservative things lately. I think he really buzzed people in the mouth when he said this.
It's an interesting play right here. I don't know how many people really look into the mission statement of Black Lives Matter, but I did. And when you look into it, there's a couple things that jump out to me. And I'm a black man who's been black, and my life has mattered since 1974. And this organization was founded in 2013. I'm proud of you. But I've been fighting this fight for me and for others a lot longer. Two things. My family structure is so vital, important to me. Not only the one I grew up in, but the one I'm trying to create right now. Being a father and a husband, that's my mission in life right now. How do I reconcile that, what I just told you, with this mission statement that says, quote, we dismantle the patriarchal practice. We disrupt the Western prescribed nuclear family structure requirement. When I know statistics, when I know my reality, forget statistics. I knew this before I even went to Columbia and saw these same statistics that I'm going to read to you right now. That children from single parent homes versus two parent homes. The children from the single parent homes, this is in 1995, I was reading this. 5 times more likely to commit suicide. 6 times more likely to be in poverty. 9 times more likely to drop out of high school. 10 times more likely to abuse chemical substances. 14 times more likely to commit rape. 20 times more likely to end up in prison. And 32 times more likely to run away from home. I knew that. You know why I knew it? Because a lot of my friends didn't have family structures that were nuclear like mine, and they found themselves outside of their dreams and goals and aspirations. So when I see that, or as a mission statement for Black Lives Matter, it makes me scratch my head. When I also see their mission is to eradicate white supremacy. In 2020, white supremacy is the mission. Woo, that's a lot of digging through minutia right there. I am on a show that I'm hosting along with another black guy who is hosting with me, who replaced another black guy. And that's just one example of it. So I understand, I respect your space. I respect what you're protesting for. But will you respect others who don't support that same protest?
And lastly, guys, we have Terry Crews, who recently went on CNN with probably the scum of the earth to me. I promise you. If anybody is with me, if I ever meet Don Lemon, you're gonna have to hold me back. I promise you I will slap this guy straight in his mouth. I'm not joking at all. This guy's a scum, man. And I put the link for all these videos in my description box. You can go watch the whole video. But I just want to show you a sneak peek of what happened in the conversation that they had. And I also want to show you a part where Don Lemon wouldn't let the guy finish the statement.
Well, again, I wanted to bring up the fact that, there are some very, very, militant type forces in Black Lives Matter. And what I was issuing was a warning. It's one of those things where I've been a part of different groups, I've been a part of different things, and you see how extremes can really can go far and can go wild. And then when you issue a warning, and when a warning is seen as detrimental to the movement, how can you ever have checks and balances? In the 60s and 70s, airplanes went down all the time. And the reason they found out why they did was because the pilots could never be questioned. And when you have the leaders of the Black Lives Movement who are now talking about, if we don't get our demands, we're going to burn it down. Other black people who are talking about working with other whites and other races, they're being viewed as sellouts or called Uncle Toms. You start to understand that you are now, being controlled. You're not being treated as loved. You're actually being controlled. Someone wants to control the narrative. And I viewed it as a very, very dangerous self-righteousness that was developing that really viewed themselves as better. It was almost a supremacist move.
Let me jump in,
where
Terry.
they viewed that their Black lives mattered a lot more than mine.
Okay.
When you look in the city of Chicago, there are 9 children who died by gun violence, by black on black gun violence, from June 20th all the way to today. And you're talking about, even with the Atlanta child murders, there were 28 kids who died in 2 years. You're talking about a month, and you have 9 black kids, and the Black Lives Matter movement has said nothing.
So the Black Lives Matter movement is about police brutality and injustice in that manner, not about what's happening in black neighborhoods. There are people who are working on that issue, and if you want to start that issue, why don't you start it? Do you understand what I'm saying?
But when you look at the organization, police brutality is not the only thing they're talking about.
I know that. I agree, but that's not what the Black Lives Matter movement is about, Terry. Black Lives Matter is about police brutality and about criminal justice. It's not about what happens in communities when it comes to crime, black on black crime. People who live near each other, black people, kill each other. Same as whites. 80-some% of white people are killed by white people. True. Because of proximity.
Very true.
It's the same thing with black people. That happens in every single neighborhood. But that doesn't, again, I'm not saying that's not important that those kids died, but it's a different movement.
Listen, I understand what you're saying. I totally understand. It is about police brutality. That should never be accepted. Yeah. I am not saying that that's not it, but there's more there. Okay. And when I look at, if they have more on their agenda, we need to ask them about what else is on that agenda other than police brutality. And that's all I'm doing. Questioning, warning, watching. And if that bothers you, now that bothers me. Because if I can't warn you, we are equal. If we're equal, I should be able to say something as equal.
I gotta go. We'll see you. Terry, thank you for coming on. I appreciate it.
So Will Smith, I'm sure you have met each of these guys somewhere down the line. I mean, Terry Crews is an actor just like you. Lord Jamar is a rapper just like you. Marcellus Wiley's been around Hollywood his whole life, especially his entire career. I'm sure you met each of these guys before. And one thing you have in common with these guys, you're a black man. Another thing you have in common with majority of these guys, I believe, you're a father. And also with a couple of these guys, you're a husband. But one thing you do not have in common, you're a hardcore liberal. And we've seen, based on your recent revelations of your relationship with you and Jada, that you may not necessarily believe in the Western prescribed nuclear family. That you may have your own sense of what family means and what marriage means. So the organization Black Lives Matter may not affect you, may not offend you. But I, for one, am proud of black men standing up to realize and understand what is the true issue in the black community. If you've researched your history, you'll realize that right after slavery, black people were thriving in the family unit. Black babies were being born in wedlock at an 81% clip, which led all Americans. So for us to be at a 72% clip of being born out of wedlock at this point shows the deterioration of the values in our community. Racism still exists, but that's not even a top 5 issue in the black community as far as how we can thrive and become a better people. The keynote issue, Will Smith, beyond even what I just said, in the last 3 weekends, there have been 10 babies, 10 children who have died under the age of 10 in our communities. And Black Lives Matter have not said one thing, have not marched one time, have not gone in those hoods and looted those drug dealers' house, looted those thugs' house who shot those kids. As a matter of fact, one of those kids was killed by Black Lives Matter. So that's the issue, Will Smith. Black men are the smartest men on this earth. I did not stutter. And for so long, that's why books was taken away from us. And at this time, they still are taken away from us. They're taken away from us by our own. We don't want to know nothing. It's almost a crime in the black school to be a smart person. Take that power back. Black people, wake up. Stop listening to liberals. Stop listening to people who want to just take away what God has created for the black family. They know they can push anything and shove anything down our throat because we so ready to be part of the we culture. We so ready to be part of the monolith. We always talking about what we need to do, what we need to do, what we need to do, what we need to do. That's all we want to talk about, we. That's why we support Black Lives Matter. You support any chant that's going on that make you feel good, but no production. It's nothing being resolved. And with that said, my last thing, I want to give a shout out to some individuals in Chicago, some business owners who are honestly actually doing something. They ain't put on a parade. They ain't put on no protest, no looting, none of that stuff. They put it in action. And it was led out by who? A black man. He had some wonderful black women, other black men join in with them. I don't like exactly how they worded everything, but they put action behind their mouth, and they basically have a reward for anybody who turn in. The people who killed them young men, kill those kids. If you know anything about it, they'll give you $25,000 and then they'll keep going up. That's why I ain't agree with it. They should never say it there because people gonna wait. But at the end of the day, they put action behind everything. Black Lives Matter have no action but destruction. The organization, Black Lives Matter, all they care about destroying everything. Physically destroying things along the street, and they want to destroy the family. You can stay asleep if you want, like I said. It's only going to be a remnant of people who get it. If you agree with this message, it don't take much to support. Share this on your social media. Share it with somebody that you love or talk to. You may not be so open to share it on social media like I am, but share at least with one person that you know you have these type of conversations with. If you're anything like me, it's hard because people hear you talking conservative methods or talking about things against the we culture or the black people. They call you a coon, call you Uncle Tom, throw you out the family and all that bull crap. But if you're a strong person, feel free to share it with somebody. Whether they receive it or not, you did your job in giving them actual information. You did your job in giving them facts instead of the lies that have been spewing out on CNN. It's your boy Mel on Mars. Let's grow. Peace.